Hello, welcome to my review of the Dallmeyer Pentac 8 inches 2.9 lens. I have been interested in this lens for a very long time. The first time I was interested in it, I was actually looking for the Aero Hector. If you don't know what the Aero Hector lens is, it's a big lens, it's an old lens, and it's a radioactive lens. And it's a lens that is very sought after because it can be used with this camera, the speed graphics. And in the speed graphics you can mount these kinds of lenses. Since these lenses don't have a shutter, you can use the shutter in the back of the camera. It has a cloth shutter. So that's perfect for bringing lenses that don't have a shutter, and you can install them in here and you can take pictures with them. The Aero Hector is a lens that you can use in this camera, but one of the issues with the Aero Hector is, one, it's very expensive, it's very hard to find, but also the main issue is that it's radioactive. Now some people claim it doesn't matter, you can use it, it's safe, it's okay, but I don't know. Besides, this camera has to be focused from the back like this. So I don't know if it's such a good idea to have a radioactive back lens just throwing radiation on my face every time I want to take a picture with it. So I started looking for alternatives to the Aero Hector. And one of the alternatives that I found was the Dallmeyer Pentac. Now, the Dallmeyer Pentac 8 inches is a very hard to find lens. I actually managed to find a copy of it, which was in pretty bad condition. I could still use it, but it was really rough. So I took some pictures with Fran once, and they were okay, but they were too soft. So months passed by, and I was finally able to find another copy, which is the one that I have mounted on my speed graphic right now. And it's a very amazing copy. This one works perfectly. I found it on eBay, and the seller was super helpful, and that was great. You need a special mount. In this case, I am using a holo mount. Holo mounts are these things. This is a mount where you put the lens. Like, the lens comes like this, and the mount is this square thing that you buy and you put it. The holo mount is kind of expensive. They're about $200 or $180. I don't exactly know how much they cost right now, but it's more or less the price. It's extremely simple. You just put it like so, like any other lens mount. Boom. And once you put it here, it's very simple. You just lock it in place, and you're ready to go. And that's the way in which you mount this lens. You can do other things, like you can arrange the rangefinder on the camera with the lens. You gotta unscrew it and do a bunch of things. I haven't done it yet, so I can't talk about that. So that's basically the whole idea. Now, the Dallmeyer Pentac is a very nice lens because it's basically a bokeh machine. If you're into super shallow depth of field, this lens is going to be really amazing for you. And it's a thing that a lot of photographers, when you're just getting into photography, all you want to have is those creamy backgrounds. And the Dallmeyer Pentac is one of those lenses that will give you an extremely creamy background. Everything will be out of focus except like tiny little pieces of the image. Before this whole pandemic thing started, I went to the park with Fran and I took some pictures, and I have the footage. And then since we were in lockdown and we can't go outside and blah blah, I asked my friend Rodrigo to come over. Now, don't panic. My friend Rodrigo and his wife and Fran and we're all together in this pandemic thing. So we decided to isolate from everybody else, and we just visit each other. They're neighbors, so we see each other 2 or 3 times a week. So we're safe. It's fine. We're not commuting anywhere. We're not doing anything irresponsible. Besides, it's really good. Like, we had that strategy of organizing ourselves, and one of us goes to buy groceries for the whole family, so less people have to go outside. So we have a very nice thing going on. Anyway, Rodrigo came over, and I took some pictures of him exactly here in my living room. So what you're about to see are 2, not shoot film episodes properly, but 2 experiences with this lens. Once in the park with Fran, where I took just a couple, like 3 or 4 shots. And then another set of images with Rodrigo here in my living room, and those are the pictures I took with this lens. I hope you like them, and yeah, let's go. I'm gonna be shooting this thing. This is a Kodak, it's a 25 ASA film, and it's actually a slide film. So I'm gonna shoot this, but I'm gonna cross-process it, and yeah, just see the results. If the colors are too funky, I'm just gonna put it in black and white, because what I really wanna see is how the images look like with this lens. Not really the colors. If I want to see colors, I will use like proper color film. Anyway, let's go to the park real quick and see what happens. shooting my friend Rodrigo. So my friend Rodrigo is gonna be staying here. Now the thing is, I'm gonna be... No, tranquilo. Oh, sí, dale. I'm gonna be shooting some slide film, very low ASA film. It's a 25 ASA film, which is horrible for indoor photography. So I'm gonna be using this light, the Falcon Eyes, and the natural light coming from the window. And I'm gonna be doing everything I can to actually achieve the correct amount of light to make this happen. And Rodrigo is gonna be my subject, and yeah, Rodrigo is my neighbor, by the way. So we live super close, like less than a block away. So we're social distance. We are keeping quarantine together. So yay. Ahí.
Ya, pues, weón. Bacán.
Sí, este ya quedó bueno. 1, 2. Tres, dos, uno, va.
Sí, amigo, no te muevas, no te muevas.
Dallmeyer Pentac. I really like this lens actually. It's the lens that I most like in 4x5. If you can find a working copy, or if you're interested in 4x5 photography and you don't know which lens will give you like this creamy bokeh kind of thing that is not the Aero Hector, this is a great alternative. There are other alternatives. You have the Hectors and you have other lenses, but for me personally, how I like shooting and the lens that I like, this is an excellent alternative, and I love this lens and I'm using it a lot. I mean a lot, as much as I can inside the house. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that as soon as I can, I'm gonna go out and take some pictures and just enjoy shooting this against the background of trees, because that's where it shines. In very complex patterns, if you have very complex patterns on the back of your image, like in the background, that's when this lens really shines, and you can see how soft the autofocus is and how nice it is. At the same time, since it's a very shallow depth of field, the one produced by this lens, you have the problem that if you take pictures directly in the front, for example, the one shot I took of Rodrigo, you can see that the eyes are in focus, but even the nose is out of focus. So the depth of field is so extremely shallow that it's basically useless for super close-up portraits wide open. I really like Dallmeyer Pentac, the 8-inch 2.9. It's an amazing lens. It's very shallow in its depth of field. It's very heavy, but if that's not a bother to you and you want to use a tripod like I do, because it's very hard to keep your hand steady with such a shallow depth of field, if you're fine with all of this, I highly, highly recommend it. Tripod is mandatory, and yeah, if that's your thing and you don't mind, then go for it. I'll say it's a great lens. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, I'll see you super soon with another one. And until then, just keep shooting, guys. Also, big shouts to my patrons because they keep this channel alive. If you want to become a patron, you can subscribe. There's a link over here. And if not, that's fine. You're not forced to. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing and commenting and liking and subscribing and all of that. And I'll see you extremely soon. Bye, guys.